That night, I couldn't sleep. The air was too heavy. It carried the sound of children crying from empty stomachs and the smell of roasted yam from a house that wasn't hungry. That was the night I learned that greed and stinginess, though different, can kill a whole village the same way. Before that season, our town was alive. We had laughter, we had music. When the sun rose, women's songs floated from the riverside. When the moon came, the drummers took over. You could smell palm wine, roasted corn, and joy in the same air, but then the rains failed. The sky grew quiet. The ground cracked open like it was cursing us. We waited 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and still no rain. By the third month, the river turned to dust. The fish died, and even the loudest children in the village stopped playing. The elders met under the old tree. They said, "We must share what we have left. If the strong help the weak, we will all live." It sounded right, until the brother stood up. Okechukwu, the elder, tall, proud, wearing a red agbada that shone like flame, raised his hand. "If I open my barns," he said, "I must get something in return. Give me more land, and I will share." People gasped. I remember an old woman shaking her head, whispering, "The gods are watching." Later that day, his brother Okoro came. He was quiet, the kind of man whose silence is heavier than thunder. When the chief asked what he would give, he only smiled and said, "What is mine is mine. I will not lose it for anyone." That day, I saw the first sign of death, not in the fields, but in people's hearts. Weeks passed. Food became memory. And then one night, drums echoed from Okechukwu's compound. At first, we thought it was a dream, but the sound was real, loud, joyful, wrong. Okechukwu was hosting a feast. I went with others and stood outside his fence. I could see the firelight dancing on the walls, smell the goat meat roasting, and hear laughter. He had invited traders from another town. Strangers ate like kings, while our children licked dust from their lips. He raised his calabash and shouted, "See how great I am. Even in famine, I feed others." Inside, they laughed. Outside, we cried. But across the road from his house, in Okoro's compound, silence reigned. I saw his wife one evening kneeling before him, her face wet with tears. "The yams are rotting," she said. "The children are weak. Please open the barns." Okoro stood there, arms folded. "If a man eats all in one season, he will beg in the next," he said. Then he turned away. That night his wife wept until her voice broke. The children cried until their breath became whispers. And the moon, that bright, innocent moon, watched it all. I thought the village had forgotten how to shout. But that changed one night. A group of young men, hungry, angry, desperate, came together with torches in their hands. I was one of them. We walked quietly through the paths until we reached Okichukwu's gate. The guards were gone. Hunger had chased them too. We broke the lock, and when we pushed open the door of his storehouse, we froze. Sacks upon sacks of grain, yam, beans, all hidden. Some were marked with the chief's seal, stolen from the village's common store. Our hands shook. Okechukwu appeared at the doorway, his face pale. "I was keeping it safe," he shouted. But nobody listened. Greed had already spoken louder than his voice ever could. We dragged him to the square. The whole village gathered before dawn. That same night, Okoro's house broke too. Not by fire, but by silence. His wife left with the children. I saw her walking down the dusty paths with a baby on her back and a basket on her head. She didn't look back once. And for the first time, Okoro came out of his house, not to lock his barns, but to watch his family disappear into the dark. When morning came, the chief called everyone. The square was full. Men, women, children, all thin, all tired. The brothers knelt side by side. The chief lifted his staff and said, "Okechukwu, your greed has cursed you. You took from others until they turned against you. Okoro, your stinginess has shamed you. You gave nothing until even your family abandoned you." He paused, his voice trembling. You both built your own hunger, one by taking too much, the other by giving nothing. Then he struck the ground with his staff, and the sound echoed like thunder. That night, the wind carried a strange quiet through the village. Okechukwu's compound was empty. Okoro's barns were full but locked, and the smell of rotten yam filled the air. The next morning, no one spoke their names. But even now, when I hear the sound of a child crying for food, I remember that night. I remember the laughter from behind the fence. I remember the silence from behind the locked door. And I remember what greed and stinginess took from us all. Because sometimes death doesn't come with a knife or disease. Sometimes it comes in the shape of a man who takes too much and another who gives nothing at all.
Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you enjoyed this video, please consider like, share, and subscribe so you can catch all the upcoming videos.